Gur magaibh ha Rugby ar bí is fáilte bhlá park at Lucy Fanéla Parma skip étal game a trí as mías úpanna bína sin gan ting ascibe a bhí sealting agus a bheachan amach na haid ar a bhí a déanna anna trínig agus gan na cúteachinn tuig an scód míéig acha ar son a chuarpis móra. Agus ha mítóla déad go bhfuil si a haga máolach ar a géime cólarúm ar son an Sealach International seo sin acah Rachel Law. Rachel, thanks for being with us. These two teams know each other very well, 7th and 8th ranked in the world. What are you expecting from this game?
Yeah, super excited. Thank you so much for having me. Super exciting game tonight. As you say, these two teams know each other really, really well. Six Nations, WXV last year, and they're always such tightly contested games. Things that are going to play into today is that heat over there in Palma. We were having a look at the weather, 37 degrees. That is warm for those Scottish girls. So in terms of that set of things, we'll see how that plays into a game of 80 minutes. It's going to be hot, it's going to be warm. There's going to be some tired bodies out there by the end.
There's the heat, but behind all that as well, there's a place in a World Cup squad. How much do you think that's playing into the minds of all players on the pitch today? Yeah, exactly. It's an opportunity here for both teams to try some new things. Coaching squads have put together some interesting teams. The Italian team full of experience. The Scotland team trying a few new combinations here and there. A couple of people who are returning from injury, a couple of people who are getting their first starts, and a first capper on the bench as well. So it's an opportunity here for all of these people to make their mark and hopefully stamp themselves into that World Cup squad in a couple of weeks' time. You mentioned a few people returning from injury. I'm sure anyone who's a fan watching will know who you're talking about. Who are we looking at in the Scotland team who's making that comeback? So 3 of them who are making a big return. First of all, you've got Emma Wassell, who's playing number 4 today. She's returning after having surgery back in August last year to remove a benign lump in her chest. So she's worked so hard over the past year to come back from that injury and get back onto that field. Second there is Corinne Grant, who's wearing 11 for Scotland. She came back from a knee injury and she's been working again tirelessly hard since her operation earlier on this year to come back. And finally, Molly Wright, who is 16 months since she last pulled on a Scotland shirt. So she'll be looking to kind of stamp her mark in this team and put on a really solid performance. Lots of Italian fans out there, family members as well from both squads, I imagine, coming out to watch. We spoke about the Scotland players. What about the Italian players? Who are we looking at? Yeah, I mentioned the Italian team is full of experience. In total, in that starting 15, they have got 678 caps between them, averaging 45 per player. So we know how experienced and how good they are. Their back 3 are probably so key to watch. Their counter-attack, in terms of kind of kicking counter-attack, is fantastic. They manage to spot the space as well. We saw that in the Six Nations when we played against them back in here, so they'll be key to watch. Seo acibh an dá scipe mar a chlein sin ha thór eolas ag scipe étalteach seo ag Fabio Roselli chunig sin an turas míérig a chunig an dá scipe Mutsu a fáin trai Alicia Dinka ar a chlích éile gymá cúnarsteach agus is skipperachge Giordano agus ar son alba tór a tín arás gan a scóds skipper Rachel Malcolm agus Brian Eason a hen go bhí facalistí cúpan na crunneach a thuladunne ar a fit seo a fiachan áit ein ounce na scóds cúpa na crunne seo agus ar a scrín inis seo acibh na bengíon ar son gach Skippe hí sin animin móra ar bengi ag na hétaltí Sara Tunisi agus cuideach ar son alba chunig sin Molly Wright isise sin arás bh bhí ar a dóchain seo acibh na skippion a tíana amach ar a farc tóir gara sin bh skipper Rachel Malcolm agus haid de Jen Jishel ar son na luai. Mar a chula sin lá go má tí sin anna Parma anna Viadana na cléichidar in a cléich ag léiridí seach an san étalch Seoacah na réitean acin réiteire bhain orlaí grasalo go bhí stúrig I ggéime in dú agus cumal a chulacáil chearst. Ach an táiseach Seoacah na óran luai ag gach skipe. agus Seoacah na luain náisiúnta I dáscipe lán fros a bhí ar an tug a bhí ruchgachuig na dúchanachcha ans na géimichin saoirigh seo ar thoiseach ar cúpa na crunne na ban.
Yes, good.
Seoacah réiteire acin ar sonanach as a rang orlaí gradaló cóirí a cúd chéile ar an túh. Mar a chuala sin gimichin gymá teann ar a bhí ann éidir an dáscipe seo go heachtaríal sé na hétaltíich a thuair an buanach an turisméire go chunchi iad an in cuarpis na sia dúchanin ach bhí alba ar sin árachuig in dú anna Parma. lots of proud faces there during the anthems. Both teams really happy to be out and back on the pitch, Rachel.
Yeah, and do you know what was so nice to see? How many Scottish fans were there as well? It definitely does play that kind of 16th man, so it's great to see some travelling support out there in the warm conditions out in Sutherland.
Shoakiv, Lisa Thompson, Sheskitsune, Kip, Ri, Anyam, Erson, and Gem, Hur, Ridol.
Blue, back.
Shach gan y sbiren fo brog Lisa Thompson is Shach Gulab yn nehital chich. Shenakif Jordana skipper ik nehital chich Leishaval.
Use it!
Agus Arab yn neu Sophia Stefan. Gus a chwr suas gan y sbiren yr ish. Bal y volcadich. Agus yr as an y laf yn nehital chich. Yr ish gan y skipper etal chich hai hast y dol. Nelson Gator Shias. Stefana Laura Kujikin. Skipper Alba Malcolm Gator Shias. Haast hai te don na hital chich. Mo glochlin a fiach yn y bal sian agus y pleik ddyrach yn mol suas. Pete Tolliger, Leisha Shin. Scotland will be happy with that after the ball bouncing about in the air for a bit. They've got that back.
Yeah, exactly, and I wonder if that's something that they've talked about in terms of that kind of midfield, trying to hold those Italian forwards up. We know how strong they are carrying, and look, both of those Scottish players have chosen to go in that high choke tackle. Rachel McLaughlin, we know how good she is. 84 tackles she made in the Six Nations over the course of the games, the second highest in the whole of the Six Nations. So we know she's going to be looking to make those sort of tackles. So I wonder if that's something they've identified. Midfield, can we choke them? Can we hold them up and allow that turnover, because that maul was called?
Bind!
Shoakiv Hiet Hagin Jenigame Isteach ek le Hagin Erson Alaba Lea Bredner Holden a heen in Nuiv New Jichiv Cape get a Jew like coach Rugby ek Loughborough Lightning.
Yeah.
A fairly new name to the Scotland squad, the number 9, but she's slowly but surely making it her own ahead of this World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. It was so exciting seeing her coming through the Celtic Challenge last year, playing for Edinburgh, and kind of solidified her place in that team, and then pushing on into the Scotland team as she plays for Loughborough, as you say. And yeah, she's done brilliantly well, and so it's an exciting career ahead of her for sure.
Cagin Eriest, Erigol Shias, Achim Balshin, Ga Alaba, Lua at Falav, Bo Evie Gallagher, Thompson, Hasley Thompson, Clechter, Gama Kunnerstach, Agus Gama Lacher, Leishaval, Wassel, Ehener China Rash, Bo Ailsha, Toshachug, Ersona Hiet Turis Anna, Cor is Bliana, Thompson, Graham Morvona Hetal Chichishin. Shanakif Ferry, Ehena Fine Hiet, Toshach Nelson, Gu Bartlett, Erigol, Edard, Balga, Nahital Chich.
Yeah, you could see what Scotland were trying to do there with that little shoulder ball from Helen Nelson out the back there to Leah. But in terms of that solid defence from Italy, they are making their hits, but they are also disrupting that breakdown. They're getting 2 or 3, trying to spoil that Scottish ball, prevent them from getting quick balls. So again, potentially they've identified that. How do we stop those Scots from getting quick ball to get on the outside? Let's focus on counter-rucking and disrupting as much of that ball as possible. So Scotland are going to need to deal with that if they're going to manage to get out wide and get some decent attack.
Cagin Inish Idol to Nahital Chich. Shachle Stefan, gonna skip it Eichke. Machen Doris, Stefan. Agus gonna brok, ek Emma Stefanen. Seo Lucia Scott, Ehena Fine Hiet Tosh here to skip a show. She of Cape. Balgu Lana Skeldon Erson Gahilgal Shach. Shach Gulavin and skipper McLaughlin. Thompson, Ada Horshias, Akai Hastadol. Lucia Scott, Lecheval. Brebner holding the dolly Hain. Ada Horshias, Anel Ney, Ananish. Rona Lloyd Cleith now. Dale Ferry, Leah Bartlett. Lloyd Cleith now, Riest. Nelson Amachdoris Hool. Coltus Gunjach Erer, Dachai on 11 in it. Gia Galicia Dinka. Gemak Kunerstock Lecheval na live. Has the doll. Lloyd Gira Gefine Greimershin. Ach, Hag Bjarna on Anish. Has Lish na Hitalchich. Bwylyn môr y chyn y staff o'n y Hitalchich. Y pwtig i'r leine, Galaba, agos has the dol. Has dan y lafan yn cwdioi. Fiach yn y bu pwtig, agos pwtig i'r leine gian sy'n y Galaba. Scorbini Galorak. Alberia, Fiach yn y cwmal o bal sy'n y hwmal Suez. Nearly sacon cyfiad ffys a chaid has y dol y siach i lafan yn un chiag ag y sy'n ac y dinca leis y trai son na Hitalchich. We spoke about the Italian wings before the game. They're so dangerous and Scotland can't afford to give them that space.
No, exactly. And in terms of that, Scotland will be so frustrated with that passage of play there. They got themselves into a great attacking position. There looked like there was space on this near side wing and unfortunately just a lost ball and didn't go to hand. And Italy counter-attacked. As you say, we talked about how good their back three are in counter-attack and finding space. And then we had some solid ball carries and that's almost too easy. Scotland will be so disappointed at that after what seemed like a fairly promising first couple of minutes from the Scotland team.
Thank you, Tempo.
Celery gyfi torst Everett Shaw. Agus Hanili Bulach y dol Harris y sgwr yn drasgu cwy gan y Hitalchich Nioni Alaba. Gidach siach minutyn i'r gol al sy gym y sio. Cwysyn gyma chawn gyma farpysach. Agus yr i sio y sgwr fo dinca. Gidach y lorach y bjarn sy'n. Agus yr i y fel sy'n Le Thompson son y chwrgwydol yr i eist. Siach yn ysbeiren. Rep môr fata yi. Siach i lafyn dinca yr i eist. Kunerstock. Grant yn engig eile Gacursias. Stefan leis y broc.
Inside.
Quite interesting to see both those Scottish kick-offs so far. Lisa Thompson has put long and wide down this left-hand side, trying to kind of box them in and force Italy to exit. This now gives them a decent attacking platform in that Italian half.
Erigol Harris Cian Ferry is Jackie Lavin na Hitalchich. That's not what the Scottish would have wanted from that line out.
Not at all, and that's frustrating because normally line out and kind of side of things they're normally on point with, so that's frustrating and allowing this Italian team back into the attack.
Tor glwys y dysyn fo na Hitalchich. Has y dol i'r lical. Alba fiach yn lafan ainaid a chas y ffyrach yn y lafan na Hitalchich. I'r gol yr erd fel lafan na Halabani, chas le na Hitalchich. Stefan y Lorac brep eile ham yn dŵl. Suez gan ysbeiren. A fala fel lafan Grant. We mentioned Kareem Grant again before this. She's just come back from surgery as well herself. Probably not quite the start she wanted, but I think we can maybe forgive her coming back from a long period off.
Yeah, exactly. She'll be frustrated with that for this first kind of 10 minutes of this game. Opportunity to catch the ball on the outside, and both have just been out of reach, and then unfortunately with that high ball there. But it's definitely something that these Italian players have identified. Weakness potentially under high ball, because that must have been the third or fourth kick that they've put up to try and put pressure on the Italian back, the Scottish back three, sorry. So their kick chase hasn't been fantastic, but if they are able to identify players in that backfield that they think are slightly weaker under that high ball, that's where they're going to be dropping that ball every time. So Scotland will be frustrated, little things just not going right for them.
Cagin Eile son na hétal Chich. Niels na fiach in a bal sin a strachgig. Stefan. Haas de dol na hétal Chich. Tron a Lavin, a Lorac na Bjarn sin. Ara Viga, Vittorio Vicini. Puchte gerurst. A Lorac na Bjarn sin na hétal Chich. A Puchte geleine Gian. Vicini riest. Stefana Lorac boikin son a val seo haid to find na Sashke, China Shacher na 5 metrin. Alba has the Puchte gyda leine Gian sin. Lorac dinca riest. Coiter son a dar na traich gys y game y seo. Veronesi leis fel. Bjarn in a Fosvig son Alba Ferry a Kumal Graham. Meter nio ga fall von a leine in a hétal Chich a Putig agus a Putig. Brok agus Grant von a val Traia ga son Dinka.
That's a lovely bit of skill there from Stefan, the Italian 9. She's noticed I've got an advantage for that the Scottish players being offside. I'm going to use that and utilise it. A bit loose if you ask me in terms of that side of things, but it's worked perfectly. And Dinka, that's her second of the match tonight. She'll be pleased with that take and that score. Relentless Italian attack there. They were coming in numbers, thick and fast. Scotland weren't able to stop them. Every single time they were getting over the gain line, they were getting momentum, they were getting quick ball, which meant it was even more difficult for the Scottish players to stop that sort of attack. So yeah, Scotland will be disappointed with that start, but that is an absolute cracking 10 minutes of rugby from the Italians.
Eerst gaan jullie even bulach fata glior vo celery ach na hitachi suus jich gunyoni. Sho en trai shen eerst a vrog vo Stefan is jach gulaven dinka. Kareem Grant, they're going for the player rather than the ball. Again, it might be nerves from that last kick that she didn't quite get. She'll just need to move on to the next job.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's one of those, she was caught a little bit in no man's land because she didn't know if she was taking the player inside or whether or not she needed to take that ball carrier. So she'll be really, really keen to make her mark in this game and get into it, hopefully.
Anna Lavin na Hitachich. From a line of Kulachke. Has the dol ball and brutal is of on a Hitachich. A lot of catch, Shin Scorbini. Ach, it is all at first. Merach on a Hitachich. Shoak of Aval Shin Eriecht Erigol heard perhaps an unexpected mistake there from the Italians. They have looked solid throughout the first 14 minutes.
Yeah, definitely so. In terms of their attack, speed is definitely the key word for them tonight. They're getting such quick ball. Scotland aren't looking to disrupt any of their rucks at all. Whether or not they've decided actually 14, 15 players on feet is going to be a better way to defend this Italian team. I'd argue potentially at this point they need to slow down that Italian ball to allow the rest of their players to get set so they can get off the line. Maybe potentially sticking 1 or 2 into those rucks to have a go and trust that they've got the pace and the spacing on the outside to prevent the Italians from going round them. But then again, we've spoken about how good that Italian back three is, so maybe you don't want to do that.
Graham Kaggin mór is sin bhna halbhaní Crane Gran a lot of Bjarn has the doll Dinka Gatorst Shias Shach Gulavin Lisa Thompson Guma Lachid Lisha Valshin Malcolm Skipper a Horsted Erst Brevner Holden a lot of Kujikin Bartlett Graham Mori or it Agus is Shach Gulavin Nehipalchi.
Another frustrating one there for Scotland. We start to do some good things. We start to get over the gain line with our carries, put some phases together. It's then a chop tackle, and that is absolutely outstanding from Muzzo of Italy there, sorry. She's over the ball, she's so strong. The Scottish players far too slow to get there, and body height into contact let them down. That's a fantastic get out of jail card there for the Italians.
Yeah, and unfortunate the Scottish players there looking to go through the phases, playing with a bit more confidence. They just need more ball in hand, really.
Yeah, exactly, and it's frustrating because every opportunity they get, they seem to be turned over.
Shach Gulavin is skipped, Vonna Linishin, Giordano Gaputig, Erigol Shias.
It's blue.
Arabiga has the doll Vittorio Vicini. Bwlen mór, rwy mór, Vonna Hetal Chichin is Jachashaw. Ferry, Wassel, Gator Shias. A hen fine clatched is a mission. Thompson agus Nelson Fiach and Balshin a Humo Suis has done 11 na Hetal Chich. Bacon of Arach Savage is Shaw Vonna Halabani. Agus Bull Board is Shin Volt Lloyd. Scorbini, Le Cheval. Wasselery is Fiach and Lavanain Edvalshin.
You are great. It's the tackler not running.
Akimi Arshnachshin Penash Erson Nehetal Chich.
Here, please, on the 5. Yeah.
Yeah, really great turnover there from Waz, but just unfortunate that Evie Gallagher got caught on the wrong side of the ball there. That means that those Italian players weren't able to effectively clear Emma Wassel out the way. You can see her lying there on the floor. She tries to roll, but she just gets herself stuck. And Waz is brilliantly over ball, but unfortunately, because Evie's not managed to get herself out of there in time, that's prevented those Italians from coming in clearing Waz out, and is therefore an Italian penalty. Gives them the opportunity to kick to the corner. We know how good their set piece is, their scrum, their line out, and now they've got an opportunity 5-10 metres out for them to launch an attack from there.
And I think from where we are, as we've seen from the first 2 tries, there'll now be a target on Dinka's back, I think, going into this line out.
Yeah, in terms of what they'll probably look to do is potentially drive that line out, try and suck as many of those Scottish defenders in. They might have a couple of hits up the middle, and then we know they're going to look to move that ball wide. Kind of first of all, as you say, try and hit it up the middle and suck as many of those Scottish defenders in, and then look to use the ball. The pitch doesn't look actually that wide. It looks like a fairly narrow pitch. Looking at how many kind of defenders you can get on your screen, it does look quite narrow, but the Italians know the ground well, they know what they want to do, and are clearly doing a fantastic job of managing to get it into their wingers' hands.
Vicini, Gahapel Stach, Shaku Lavin, Scorbini, Evie Gallagher has the Putig, Valid of Olamach, Haslid na Hitalchich, Bull and Moricina Stach, Vonna Halabani, McLaughlin, ar na calapan sin. Machen doras le mútso, an is nid mór an eicin fo mútso a chai hen gemach cwynarstach ar y chlich. Vittoria Vicini a tínistach ar íist. Has y dol, gan y chlich. Rona Lloyd has y cwmal sŵl y si'r dinca. Tron y chlich dar yn yr íist. Has sy'n yr sioich yn mae'r haf o'n y hetal chi. Gydach y bwlig agos y bwlig. Brog fec y sy'n fo Stefan. Has dy Lorag agos y mach. Le Thompson. Just trying there something, Stefan, knowing that they had the advantage.
Yeah, we saw her do it earlier with the last kick that she popped there. When you have an advantage like that, you might as well try these things, little kicks over the top, just to keep the Scots on their toes, with the knowledge that that advantage is coming and they've got the safety of the penalty. So yeah, it's nice to see a bit of loose kind of rugby there from the Italian scrum half.
Stephen and Gida got fúta gemach le brok.
No, the line in the middle. Move back.
Leine eile seo son na hétaltích. Vicini isteach go leavan dúcha. Púta agus púta tron y mol. McLaughlin isteach, Wills isteach, fiach in y baw seo stat. A charish y leine. There wasn't much stopping that maul.
No, and in terms of the Italian kind of set piece, we know 5 metres out, what are they most likely to do? They're going to try and maul. They're going to try and drive that over the line. Scotland do well initially to stop that kind of initial drive, but then as the splinter, as the Italians start to wiggle that left and right, looking for those gaps, they come to this right-hand side, they start to turn it, they start to turn it, they start to turn it. Rachel McLaughlin and Evie Gallagher do their best to get there, but unfortunately the Italians just far too strong. They've splintered that Scottish maul and managed to find their way to the line.
Tempo, do you have anything?
Celery ar Easterson and Brock. A chwr an y fal.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Agus hanile ar y gol tron y pwysht. Ach, mae Eugeniach ar tîn colerain y sio bio ar BBC Alba y sgwr. Cwyg dieg gwynioni gan y heitaltich an y Parma. Sio acif Gemichin an y 3 is saurig mae'r blach o'ch Suez ar son cwpyn y crynnu yn ban ag sy'n y pwngyn leis na heitaltich y draste y sio le 40 minut i'r gol siachat sy geme. Lisa Thompson ar eist. Siach i lafyn Dinca hwyr da rhai gyma tra sy geme sio i'r gol Bunos Cwn an sy Graim Shin. Agus fiach G. Stefan ar eist a nili dol gybrog. Had y Lorag na heitaltich dynius y bi sien, Mutso leis y fal sien, Wells a fiach yn gachwmal has dy do Mutso. Iolach ar trais ein yn ein y halabynich, Scott gator sias mi ierig hal, awn yn lafan na halabynich, Le Thompson. Evie Gallagher, y mach i lafan Lloyd, Pleichter yn Lua, Skipper Malcolm, Evie Wells leis y fal, has dy dol. Bal yn eich an yn lafan na halabynich. Emma Wassel i'r tîn yr ash, ei hyn y Lorag misnach sy'n hym eich gysio. Ach, a chal y sy'n gymi o'r stynach.
She's on the ball and lifted the ball.
Scrappy from both teams, but frustrating once again for Scotland. We start to get into our stride, we start to build the phases, and then we don't get there quick enough in attack. It's an outstanding turnover once again, but frustrating. We're just not getting into our stride at all with any of our attack.
We saw there as well just how dangerous Mutsu can be with ball in hand. She was on the wing, but she went all over the pitch.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it was Lucia Scott who managed to get her palms onto her in the end. But yeah, as you say, we mentioned how dangerous that Italian back three is. You cannot give them any space.
Emma Wassel, Le Cheval, Lucia Scott. Fine here, Toshuk he game a shot. Brebner Holden, Eliane Clark, Le Cheval. Cleiche Kuj Rugby at Bristol Bears. Nelson, Le Cheval, Kafiach Bra Kujach. Is Jack in 11 Kjær ek Mutsu. Heen a lot at Bjarne Est. Clark Gatorchiest. We're having a skipper Giordano. Stefan Lorak Brep Hamindul. Irvi Gema Sarvachal Le Chevrok. Lucia Scott. Lorak Bjarnbeck. Skeldon. Ferry. High in 11 Nehitachich Eriest. Machen Doris. Le Chevrok. Karin Gran Aruyas I Henir China Ash will be at all fine. Viachen Rutken a Kruge gemacht as a game show. Here a Torshias Lena Hitachi. Skeldon. The Dolly Heen, here Lorak Bjarn. Gachumal Savache and Drast in the Halabanich. Adele Ferry.
No, stay back.
Thompson Leschebroek. 4 meter in een er zo'n skipweegje. Sjach Gulaven Dinka. Mutsu. Haslinde Hitochi Janse Wien Sarah Manini. Alibi Le Cheval. A bit of breathing space there hopefully for Scotland.
Yeah, everything that Scotland look like they're doing is rushed, is at 100 miles an hour. Even that exit there, they just need to take a minute, get themselves set. Lisa Thompson kicked the ball there, but she didn't have a single player behind her to counter, to chase up and to put pressure on the Italian back three. Take their time. Leah Bartlett did a fantastic job there with that turnover, and as you say, have given them a bit of a breathing space there, but they just need to settle down. There's so many nerves flying around and they're just trying to do things at 100 miles an hour.
Ní orstanach sin Mutsu díreach a cura brach a seach ar a leine agus bíon bail sin a furach leina Halabanich sin a bhar in dúl von a bhrep coú. Áte clích as an dógus ar son na Halabanich seo. Bartlett gain ní ar a cael. Ga Kumal Andraste, Malcolm, Lenier Skeldon in a Kulu, Evie Gallagher, a Puthig throw, a Lorak Thompson, a higher Lorak Bjarnbeck at her 3 gleich daarin. Evie Wells got Kujikuch, Brebner Holden, a Lorak Wassel, Wassel lay a heen in Draste, a Puthig agus Puthig na Halabanich, Anna Lavin Lloyd. 3 gleich in féimig son gator Shias. Díach a bhail sin a dulgu Brock and Thompson. Cúsin stratach a seo.
Yes, please.
Ach a fáin na Sasca agus na Sasca.
We have time off.
They're pushing that line there, Scotland.
I don't have
getting closer and closer and hopefully getting a bit of confidence back in this game.
Yeah, better go forward rugby there from Scotland. I think it's Lisa Thompson with the initial break, which is really, really good. The only thing I'd say is we're still going into contact in 1s and 2s. We're leaving ourselves a little bit isolated, but it's better from Scotland. That's really nice bit of play there from Lana Skeldon. You can see she's trying to commit those 2 Italian last defenders and give Lisa Thompson a little pop out the back to go through. Whether or not there was an Italian hand in there, a little bit of a deliberate knock-on, I think that's what Rachel Malcolm has asked the referee the question, and I think I'm unsure if we do have a TMO.
I think the ref herself is having problems with her contact lenses, so I'm not sure she'll have known whether there was an Italian hand in there, but as you say, there should be a TMO to tell us.
Sounds like they've said that it was in the tackle, so it will just be a Scotland scrum. But again, this is a brilliant attacking platform. This is probably the first time that the Scots have actually been in the Italian 22. They have to get the basics right. They have to get their handling. First of all, they've got to get the scrum right. Second of all, they've got to get their handling right. And third of all, they have got to get there in support. They cannot leave themselves isolated, having done so well to build themselves this platform.
Ha TMO ac un enoch sé Ian Tempest a hawn. Na cleithtarin seo díreach a gal anal mystéidiacht a seach go cagin seo airline 5 mítar in na hétaltí Jojo chorm is seo ga alba pingin ein a bhord. Agus rihíon BBC Alba, gemichin anna cúpa camanach na halba íorchúséidenach étar a ggéiristan agus ceann a dúsich sin a tín gaibh in a heachgain bio BBC Alba. Agus cuideach ball úr in tléamh in a camanach an dóban a ríis anna cúpa camanach sin acibh in íorchúséidenach rihíon an da heachgain bio BBC Alba. Brefner Holden ga curisteach. Pútig agus pútig na cleachtain seo tro brochen Evie Gallagher a lecal a Brefner Holden aid. Nelson a cleach now. Bartlett isteach. Harris should a line and 5 mítar in. Tro Lavin na cleachtain in Uy. Evie Gallagher. Fine Becken at Erd. Brefner Holden. McLaughlin and Learson a Graham sin a lecal.
You can see Rachel McLaughlin being a classic Rachel McLaughlin there and just being a pest on the pitch, both on and off the ball.
Yeah, Rachel McLaughlin I think used to be a judo, I don't know what you call them, but used to do judo for years, and you can kind of see that in the way she plays. Not the biggest player on the pitch by any means, but you can see exactly why she's retained her place in that squad.
Yeah, exactly. A little menace, so she is.
Malcolm, Shachar a Mall, Corum Glaive Ashaw, Anna Lavin Skeldon, I Hain Yolker tries Aaron Von Atcheshaw, Villier Bjarna Lorak, try Gana Halvany, Meyerig Hal, Fichis Och Minichin, Erigol, Lana Skeldon, Leisha try, Gema Yolker Shin. That's Lana Skeldon's bread and butter, that sort of score just off the rolling maul.
Yeah, exactly. We know how much control that she has, but also calm, collected, know when she needs to peel, know when she needs to launch, things like that. She's so good at. So better from Scotland. First of all, we got the line out right, we got the catch. Italy have done really well thus far throughout the game to disrupt that line out ball, so it was good. We got up in the air, we got a clean catch, we came down, we got the drive, we moved it left, we moved it right, we had the patience. And Lana Skeldon, as you say, that's her bread and butter. She loves doing it for her club, she loves doing it for her country, and she's got Scotland back into this game.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Nelson Leishibrip Gleinchin Torunye Shin Anile Bulach Erigol. Seeing this rule coming into international rugby all over the clock there, and it looked like Nelson didn't quite have her tea there ready. You could hear loads of time, but maybe it got to her a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly, and that's frustrating because often games, albeit this is a warm-up for the World Cup, but you want to win it to have that confidence. Games are going to come down to 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. In terms of that, that's a massive Helen Nelson will be nailing that any day of the week. She's been rushed, so that's a little bit frustrating from Scotland.
Late uri hije ir a goal, so game is shot. Scored Puig Jig Gukoig Gana hit the cheek is shot on a Viadana. Brevner Holden Lorak Nelson. Lorak Bjarnbeck is in Heen. Stach Gu Lavin Wills. Shaw he at Toshik he ga Wills. It is skip a shaw. It Anyam Edina Dash. Gana squads. Coltas, Chavorgan door na hetaltí sin. Scaled in a rear, scaled na huúr a trai sin, gan a Halbanich, Leishaval. Valge Thompson, Hanjelier son of Olge Brock. Haas de dollar, Lorag Bjarnbeek. A heen hoekunerstaf Leishaval na live, a ruige macruei. Gallagher, Lorag Bjarn, Bartlett. Bartlett, Gida, Kumal, Kushin, Ray. Wassel. Brebner Holden, Lorag Nelson. Kumal. Shafi Lavin, Brebner Holden, Hanil Nuyak in de draaste. Boek in Gida Gesattler, Fjellnaatje, Shaw. Ach, a Firach Anne Lavin na Halbanich in draaste. A wee smile there from Helen Nelson. I think she knows things have got maybe a bit scrappy.
My goodness me. Yeah, I'm glad. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, I guess. So in terms of that sort of things, we're just, as I say, rushing everything. We've had 2 kicks there that the pass from Brebner Holden's probably not been accurate as it needs to be. The first one back to Helen Nelson, it bounces along the floor, she has to scoop it. By the time she's looked up, that Italian defence is in her face. They're rushing up, they're wanting to put as much pressure on those kickers as possible. And she's been forced to have to carry down this near side, give it to Evie Wills to try and get out. Then the forwards are forced to get back up off the floor. And rather than them chasing down to have a line out, they're having to carry again and again and again. They're tiring themselves out and working so ineffectively. Scotland have got to get better at those exits, otherwise we're playing 80 minutes of a game here and the forwards are going to be dead on their feet.
Shoakiv Lena, Gana Halabani, Skeldin Gakudashach, Staki Lavin Ferry. Saviltje, Gurika Shaw, Irregolator, Trollavin Nelson. And Yeller and Doer in the American Von Nelson. A heen le Shak at Sahun, Kip, Rianya Mishaku, Lavin, Mutsu. A heen Gamakunerstock le Cheval. Na hetel chi, Gevalji, like a bucket dich, Mankurstach, Haska Kumal. Saviltje. Clark to the Fiach in Ada Valshin. Nelson, a Ferry Gatorchius. A Machen Doris. Nahetelchi has the Chien. Gana Plichter and more Ake. Scaled in Gida. Focution. Vicini le Boel Moor. Lena Gianek na Halbany. Gida Kumal en draaste. Ferry Gatorchius. Neil Nuya na draaste. Na hetelchi gegenereerd. Jeshal, Lena Kulach, Jeshal. Machente Jace. Rasha Shach, Evie Galker, Havrodle, Lavenle, Ida Valshin. Stefana Lorek, Aravikoig. Na Halbany has the doll. Skelton Angus Clark, a Fiach in a Valshin, a Humal Suis. Nearly set of a little area tip shot. Scorbini. Stefana Lorek Kujikin. Nelson Gida, gefijn een Grijmsje er Falav. En ik zie Dinka en een Fudach hier in de kliegen. Heen agus Mutsoer gach klieg. En mag. Shaki Lavin Mutso, Hisha Genisha. Rona Lloyd de Tevela Gatorchius. A China Stach at Elena Koig meter in the Hetelchik Ach.
Side entry.
Er wel Stach en Teuke Miors nach a Shenvo Rona Lloyd. A Goper Gema Crue a show on the GN. Skis the shouting it out and the Clichter and Alaba.
I think I mentioned earlier just how relentless that Italian attack had been, and that passage of play was exactly the same. They are getting over the gain line with every carry, they're getting momentum, their accuracy is 5 times better than Scotland's at the minute in terms of their handling, their decision making, everything. They look like the fitter team, the more physical team, the more accurate team at the minute. And Scotland are just having to soak up tackle upon tackle, getting, as I say, over the gain line with every carry, and Scotland are continuously on the back foot. When they get the small opportunities to steal ball, to counter ruck, things like that, because they've had to work so hard for the last however many minutes that passage of play was, they're blowing, they're probably not making the correct decisions, and Evie Gallagher just got caught there in the side of that ruck and has given the Italians an opportunity of a penalty. They are more than likely to get to the touchline, more than likely to drive the maul, and in terms of that, Scotland are back where they don't want to be, defending. So it's very much the Italians' game at the moment, and for Scotland to get back into this, they have to disrupt that Italian attack. They have to do more in terms of getting off the line, in terms of disrupting those rucks, and in terms of being a bit more physical.
Time back on.
Egal seo fyrach le na hétaltí, Stevenin le broch, agus bí leine ag na hétaltí leine a 5 metrin ag Alba. Na hétaltí bhí grochaig dora seo ag na Halbanich son chavód 5 minutin, agus seo far an dúirid impressive try acha bhna mó, agus iad a fiach in ríis. Sé Vicini húr impressive try, fiach a bheli hénig cúl chúsin an drásta. Alba has ag bhal Stefano Lorek Kujikin. Brocha sin bó Manini. Agus, cúile fyrach a hónach dinka a choltas go bhfuil sin a gól urst. That was a gift to Dinka there.
It was, and she should have just styled that off as though she had got it, because I think her face said it all. I think she's just dropped it. She's taken her eye off it at the last minute to see where she's needing to score it.
Tempo, do you need to check, or are you...
That's a tight one, because all she really needs is downward pressure there. And it looks like she might have controlled that all the way down. It'll be interesting to see what the TMO says.
Yeah. Okay.
Scotland, they're focused on that maul where that third try for Italy came, so there was no one there. Lucia Scott racing to get back, and there's the decision there. Haniel try Alan son na hétaltí gól urd agus a bhal ga na Halbanich Becken Unior son Anil egal.
Yeah, as you said, the Scotland players were focusing on stopping that maul. There must have been at least 10 of them in there, which left them short on this left-hand side. As you say, Lucia Scott was that last player, and she was almost in the second post. She had so far to chase. But yeah, she's just taken her eye off it there, Mutso, and unfortunately, no try, and that's given Scotland the opportunity to clear their lines.
Hinnig sin sin díadach bearn éitir Lavan Dinka agus a bhal ach fórsnach son na Halbanich haní try eile tresif try a bhí ga Dinka, so fyrihí son a hat-trick Becken a bharach. Bhal a bocadích man cuairste ríist agus a gól urst. Grazalo has a cumal smach cúsin hí sin ho farpaseach sa cha a géime seo éidir a dascipe clíchtar an u I tí isteach go cagin agus apar a skis ar utanach in mar ha.
Yeah, the mark is on the... Yeah, thank you.
Díadach córa is 3 minutin rigol an sa hiad le fiach déile sur ein Alba fein amach as a géime seo.
Crouch! Sit! Bind! Stand up. It's not stable.
Brebner Holden díadach a fudach a sin son a bhal sin is stúrig isteach. Isteach a ríist son na clíchtar an fiach yn gyrach y ffain gan y darn y le Unia Einerson Fosh ag le Unia has Davinich rigol y sio. Rwyf na Holden y Siach yn Ela Fal sy'n y glwys y Siach yw laban Evie Gallagher, Rona Lloyd. Bjarn Beck has y dol I hen gymalw am a has fe eisiau. Wassel. Bwl mwr y Shen. Nelson. Skeldon. Nelson yr eist. Thompson. Y hen gyrach i'r son o gol tron y cleich yr yn Shen. A hair y gol yr yrd leis y fal Shen. Cws glwys it a sy'n greim y fa i'r cwrore.
Yeah, Lisa Thompson there just done for crawling along the floor in terms of she's not released the ball, she's not got back to her feet, so she's technically out the game. All she can do there is turn back and present. She just gets caught, she's half held, but she doesn't release that ball when she goes again. So unfortunately that's a penalty to the Italians for crawling, and it gives them another opportunity to get into that Scotland 22.
Waiting. Just waiting.
Mar hwyl sy'n hitlatich isteach gan y ffich sy'n ga ag na halbanich gyrach minach rigol fiach yn unig gaif yn bawl sio a chwmal safaltiach agus falla fona leina ach geheen. Vicini ga cwyd isteach, bal gyma ard.
Not straight.
A charoi ri.
Yes, but it's after the 15, so we need to be straight after the 15. Scrum? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Make a point. Scrum. No bind on the shoulder. Yeah. Thank you.
Cagin sio, cagin mierig, having do answer le sio y dol tyf alba. Yn rwy iad leis no yn brepi de mach hi sin. Evie Gallagher sy'n lorad Bjarn ach y siach gyda lafan na hetaltich Giordano ysrach gygamach y skipper ach gysyn. Habi sio y far yn dŵ. Emma Wassel Sias yn doch ys gyfeli Kiersky Road. Na hetaltich y clych son y fawr sy'n fiach Gini Stefan yn sio ach a'r ewol yr ash gyda lafan y cleichter yn eich amach yn Doris. Y lorad cleichter clich y sy'n gyrach i'r cwmal Graimir, Francesca Granzotto. A siŵl troch ys yn Scorbini, Vicini, Stefan. Rona Lloyd Gishel son y fawr sy'n ach y siach i laf yn mwtso ha yn fawr sio. Haas the dol, Skeldon agus Nelson fiach yn gael cwmal Sias. Haas this dol a sy'n minute isteach gwyn i farach. Stefan ar y fycir, Coela Dinka. Dwylich mwtso I hen i'r trai ein yn ish. Bai lorag fyr. Gyrach roli unie. Mwtso leis y cerif sgwr son na hetaltich.
Unfortunately, another example there of Scotland not getting an effective exit out of their 22. They've got the scrum, they have to clear their lines. Evie Gallagher comes up this near side and she gets herself isolated, turned over, and then it's just that relentless Italian attack. They're forwards doing the hard yards, they're getting the offloads, they're getting over the gain line, they're moving the ball from left to right, and then it's another easy walk-in for her to get her hat-trick.
Sianagif mwtso leis y hyd sgwr eich gysio Jenna Gema agus si Michaela Sillery ar son an ball seo a chuir thrón a púist. Anílí sarabhachal a sin aníl brep ar a gáil tuh seach tuh gurica seo ach sin acibh dírig I chiad lí na hétaltích ar céthir trai ein agus a scór fichiad gan na hétaltích cóig ga alba Hunig siad trais gymá tra fo dinca ach anis Becin run a géime chula sin fótí a ha gymá jolasach ar géimichin étar náisianta is I brín ar is skipe fófichiad seo acibh Louise Dalglish.
An sa chéitin, Janimich in SRU, Sean Chluichtar na Halpa, Louise Dalglish, na fríomh chóte ar son skipan an bannig Alpa fó ús fichiad bliana. Lei sesket sa seach céip agus dá thuras clúich ag cúpan na crúine, ha é tás bearstras diolas gan dríoch. Becin unne is dé dhí an skippa stúrig ag farpis nan sia duachanan as taurig. Ha é nist iras ag iad a náisianta, agus a coid a rud le bhí a gopar leis na dhéanalach dé Haaland Albanach.
I was a little bit taken aback, to be fair, but I was also delighted to be able to come back into a pathway programme because it is something that's hugely important to me, so we're really privileged to be in the position to be able to take that forward. I think I spoke about that in the first media I did when I came back, in that honour of wearing the thistle in any sense. And I think when you're standing watching a team sing the anthem, like that is hugely proud. Yeah, it's obviously still pretty emotional to watch that happen and be part of it. We knew we were going to have 3 challenging matches, and we definitely got that. Elements of the performances were really strong. Like we showed when we were in a flow of attacking rugby what we can do. We've got some real quality players in that setup who both individually and when they connected were able to put us in really good positions on the pitch. We're able to show some real moments of attack and flair, some real connections in defence where we got that right. It was a real varied group in terms of age profile, in terms of the backgrounds that they were coming from, whether they are supported in their regional training centres, whether they had Celtic Challenge experience, or whether they were coming in from club games or SQ identified programmes. So I think the first thing we wanted to try and do is drive the big connection between that group, because we knew that some of them had never met each other before. So that ultimately had to be the first thing. And I think from that point, they did that really well. From a rugby perspective, I suppose it was probably apparent quite early the diversity of experience leading to a massive scale in terms of skill quality, in terms of their game understanding. There probably were significant differences from some players to others, and I think that was something that we continued to try and navigate and pull everybody closer together. But ultimately, sometimes the fundamental skill sets, lifting, jumping and line-outs, were drastically different from one player to the next. So how we ID'd that or how we tried to address that in our training and our preparation was probably quite challenging. But yeah, ultimately, every single one of those players came into the programme in April or from the 18s a little bit later. They committed to what they were doing. They worked hard at what we asked them to work hard on and ultimately got better in many areas of their games.
Leis an ard skippe a ggólachaigh son cúpan na craoine ar an ábhíos. Had a glís gem bheach go bhfuil 4 chorm ag Alpa faoin na machas a bhuain agus a sealtaí na comasanacha go ara an túl. Agus sé bhíos an arpis mairig ag príomh chóte Brian Essen.
Brian's taken the squad through some real challenging times. In terms of the world ranking has obviously improved when Brian's been at the helm, so there's been a lot of positives. His coaching team that he's had with them and some of the people who have been involved in that on and off have all implemented, have all added to that value and that progress. I think taking the squad through professionalism, through other different challenges that they've navigated and having the experience of a previous World Cup in New Zealand, which was the first one they'd been at for a while. That's shown the value that Brian's been able to bring to the squad and how he's been able to lead them through and stay with them, because ultimately, like as a head coach, he's actually had quite a long time to implement some things, and hopefully from last World Cup to this one, there's been some positive impact and he can really take them on and lead them to another good performance to see off his time in charge of the team. I think Scotland should be really positive about their chances going into that group, while Canada you would look at being the game that will challenge them the most, I think how Canada play, even that game is not like it's not out with the realms of possibility to be getting a result against Canada. But you look at both Wales and Fiji, and obviously both had coaching changes relatively recently, so I think they are definitely games that the team can be well prepped for, because they certainly know the Welsh opposition, as we know, really well, and should be going into a really positive place and looking to get results absolutely in both of those games and making sure that they can progress to the quarterfinals at the minimum. There's always going to be standout players that I just love watching play for Scotland, and some of them are it's the Lisa Thompsons, the Evie Gallaghers, the ones that they are constant in that squad, and if they go well, then ultimately they drive the team performance. There are some younger players coming through, although Hannah Ramsey's not yet capped. She was somebody who I worked with at under-18s and I think has a huge amount of potential, so I'm really looking forward to seeing her get an opportunity in that kind of playmaker role at 10. Whether that's in the World Cup or whether that's in the warm-ups, I think it'll be great to see her in a national team shirt. And yeah, apart from that, ultimately I think the strength of Scotland is quite often in the collective, so how well they kind of pull together and are on the same page. There's been, some ups and downs for this squad, but they seem to be in a positive place, or are working towards being in a positive place, and I'm certain they'll go out and put out some really strong performances in this World Cup.
Ha Bonanich na Halape genu echt die farne parke kutjach. Ha heime na Sassin aan een farpush en Shia Durgenen, geweek Muddyfield in Avliana. A heet game var eveliet kleise varke Buel of Slug. Agus ha kutjach barach ticket erik na Jameson B eile nan echtri. Na chochore go fatse ha game nan ban chien. Agus J in ide J chomish a havi rukshin haast.
The progress in women's sport and women's rugby particularly has been significant. The investment that Scottish Rugby have committed to the women's game has been vast, and I think the next steps of that to be playing across in the Murrayfield Bowl in April against England that's another big step forward, and I think ultimately the World Cup gives another opportunity, another massive platform for our players to inspire future generations, but also future generations of supporters. So I think the investment arguably has been made at the right times. Everybody will always want more, I think that's fair, but when you look at where Scotland women has come from and where they are now, I think nobody can deny there's been some massive areas of growth on and off the field, and we're continuing to go in the right direction, and the World Cup in England for me just gives another huge launch pad to take it even further. We're now looking at under 16s national teams, under 18s national teams, under 20s, or whatever works, whatever happens in that space moving forward. Like, the more that pathway strengthens, the more that the game and the interest in the game strengthens, there isn't a limit to where the women's game can go, and I think that's probably the most exciting part of it.
Sianacah Louise Dalgleish Brian Erin Telmrichach agus na clíchtar an óg a tían tro squad fó fichit ag Alba le úne in draste na hétaltí suas fichit coig ag Alba tor trais barachstoch na var in dúl an sa hiet le Colarum son Arish Erigame Shaw Rachel Law. We expected a tight game there. I'm not sure we expected it to be quite so far apart, I suppose, from Italy especially. Two tries in the first 11 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like Scotland haven't really managed to get going. They've been really inconsistent with their attack, handling errors that have creeped into there, and defensively they've just looked less dominant, less physical than we normally see them against this Italian team. So they'll be frustrated. There'll be lots of things that I imagine Brian Easton will touch on at half-time, work-ons for them to get them back into this game. Italy, on the other hand, we mentioned the word relentless in terms of their attack. They're getting front foot ball, they're getting the speed of ball that they're wanting, and quite frankly, they're looking like the miles better team at the moment.
And essentially this game is part of a summer series, but they're warm-up games. The World Cup about less than a month away. Lots of games for both these teams, not playing each other actually. As we can see, Scotland will be playing Wales first, playing Italy today, playing Ireland next week. Probably quite a lot of work-ons there before going into these fixtures.
Yeah, exactly. And there's two fixtures there. There's 3 fixtures on there, I should say, as a Scotland supporter, that we can win. Scotland-Wales, that is a definite. Not if we put in a performance that we are to today. But yeah, and Fiji's the other one that we're going to be targeting, and we need to put on a good performance against Canada. So 3 great games there. We need to build into this game if we're going to take anything from them.
Sin acibh na géimichin rí hín achas gan na géime seo acibh gan na hiad trai a bheith ag na hétaltíich ar a bhualag inú le Corinne Grant. This is Dinka's first try.
Yeah, and it comes from that turnover we saw there. Scotland's handling errors creeping in, and we know how dangerous that Italian back 3 is. That's a nice, easy walk-in try. They've done the hard yards. They've sucked in those Scotland defenders, and she just has to fall over the line.
A winger's dream, really, that one there, and this one as well, to be honest, walked in at the end of the day. Yeah,
they knew they had the advantage. That's a calm head from Sophia Stefan. She said, I've got that advantage. I am going to try something. And Corinne Grant just gets caught narrow there, and that's another easy try for Dinka.
Agus seo acibh impressive try. The third try came in the 20th minute from a rolling maul there from Vicini. Again, quite easy at the end of the day, it looked.
Yeah, exactly. And that's Scotland's errors in terms of their handling errors, but also in terms of their penalties. They're giving away far too many easy penalties and allowing Italy into the game through that maul.
Lisa Thompson there with the ball into Wassel. Really good to see Emma Wassel back on the pitch though.
Yeah, fantastic. She's been everywhere as well. She was really key in this almost perfect attack from Scotland. We just see there what they're trying to do. They're trying to attack down this near side, and it's just unfortunate that Lana Skeldon doesn't quite go to hand to Lisa Thompson there. But yeah, better from Scotland, and then we finally get on the team sheet.
Copying exactly what Vittoria Vicini did. Again, like we say, doing what she knows, what she does best. Lana Skeldon with at the back of that rolling maul, getting the try for Scotland.
Yeah, getting a bit of consistency with their attack was key there, and we saw how good Lana Skeldon is at the back of that maul in every game that she plays. So yeah, another one of her bread and butters.
That could have been the heartbreak. We're just seeing Dinka's potential hat-trick there slip through her hands, essentially, almost again handed to her on a plate.
Yeah, exactly, and you can see how dangerous they are with those little kicks over the top.
Seo scór méarag ga Mutso. Sin scór méarag. We've spoken about going into the World Cup. A big change following the World Cup for Scotland will be Brian Eason. Recently announced that he will be departing. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, in terms of that side of things, he's been with this Scotland squad over the course of the last 5 years. In terms of where he's taken them, he's done a fantastic service for Scottish rugby and Scottish women's rugby. We know he had to move on at some time, and I think coming off the back of hopefully a successful World Cup will be great for him to kind of push on. I think there'll be a lot of girls who Rachel Malcolm has discussed quite a lot over the past week or so, how kind of disruptive this has been, the announcement has been to their prep. Whether or not that's creeping in today and the performance that we're seeing is yet to be won, but I'm sure they will want to do Brian Eason proud in their performance, and fingers crossed they can step up a level in this second half.
What do you think Brian Eason, in his current role anyway, will have been saying at half-time to his squad?
I think basics. Let's get the basics right. Yes, it's warm. Yes, we're fatigued, but we have to get that handling right. Handling errors have creeped in, and then it's been our discipline. Our discipline, we've been caught quite a few times round the rucks, not rolling away in the side, just cheap and easy penalties that have allowed this Italian team to get back into it. We know how good the Italians are on counter-attack. We've definitely not nailed our exits either. So for me, Brian Eason's saying, get the basics right. Let's get our handling better, let's get our exits better, and let's be a little bit more physical.
Well, he shin na churis iad sin isteach na fachlan ag Rachel Law isteach gubi ansadar na lei seo mar a hunnig sin scoring dras a fichit gan a hétaltí chuig ga Alba a 4 minutes has frigol ansa game seo bio air BBC Alba.
We don't have TMO. Ah, okay. Tempo. Okay, it's good. Yeah.
Séna hétaltíich a bhí a curcú sin gúdal an sa darna lí seo a bhil a seo anna lávan Emma Stevenin.
10 seconds. Ready?
Dícin rígol an sa géime seo géime anna strí saoirigh ag rugby na ban. Tíireach ar a bhráca sin Lisa Thompson ga chlumáil amach a cúnarst. A lorach scéaldaine sin. McLaughlin sias.
Taken back!
Nelson leis a bhrác. Lorach dinca sin na casan agus na lávan cúnarsteach ag a chluichtar clíoch a chanéal Malcolm Neo Thompson galícal troia an trip seo. Stefan a haar a bhí stúr cúsin ar son na hétaltíich ag cúl gach graim. Scorbini leis a bhil, Bartlett gator sias. Past the dol Corinne Grantley a hain gata. Manuel Dinne sa bhí ar a clí scéald an agus wasal. Fiach an a hula Dinne fain gan a clí sin. Hafi sacha hócanarstach a suring Mutso agus dinca bhí agus. Sadabachas is sin Alsa Graham ar son Alaba.
Better there from Scotland. They looked more organised, they looked less frantic. They were making their hits, they were getting numbers around the corner, and then EVG, we know how good she was. Her stats in the Six Nations were outstanding. She was on top of the kind of defensive ruck stats. 10 turnovers she got in that tournament, and there we see her doing what she does best. Her body height over ball, and she is solid as a rock.
Yep, happy? Yes. Yeah, please.
Sinach of Evie Gallagher a fine ball a rash. Lana Skeldon ar son a bhil seo a chuiristeach van Elaine. Emma Wassel, Rachel McLaughlin, Leah Brebner Holden, Thompson, Isteach, Evie Wells here to be Carsavach.
Aye.
Nelson, Lucia Scott, Ehéidir bhí Beck and Savach, Corinne Grant. Fiach an Rutican a cruúchu sa darna lí seo na Halabanich, Eliane Clark. Throw Lavin Lloyd. Not happy with that, Lloyd, but a really good passage of play there from Scotland.
Yeah, better. They look like they've got more confidence. They've got a bit of buzz about their attack now. They're getting over the gain line. First thing they got right was that line out. They got speed off of it. They had Thompson and Wills working really well together in that midfield, and then they managed to get the go forward. Unfortunately there we've given ourselves the penalty, and then another error just creeped in as Nelson's kicked it dead. So we do some good things, and then we throw them away with silly errors like that. That's frustrating, considering the first 3 minutes of this game for Scotland has been miles better.
You are in, girl. It's inside.
A bhil ar a bhil machas sa farcu mí orsnach cagin a seo a dul tuamh na hétaltíich.
Thank you. On the line.
I don't think there's any changes for either team, I don't think. Although actually there might be a change at prop for the Italians, but interestingly the Scots have come out with exactly the same team. It looked like a lot of them were blowing quite heavily towards the end of that first half, sorry. So it's interesting to see when they'll kind of decide, actually, let's get some fresh legs and inject a bit more pace into this game.
No stability.
Na hétaltíich leis a bhil a sé chagin sin. Lloyd a fiach an gagat a nearly bula.
Release on the ground.
Sadabachal. Dúla Shiba Sadabachal agus a bhil a rash an a Lavin na Halabanich. Evie Gallagher, Lorach Bjarnan, a Putig agus a Putig. Ferry Erigel Colleria. Leah Brebner Holden, Rona Lloyd a Cwmol Graham i'r a bhil sin. Wassel. Ferry. Gimmet mór seo ga Ferry. Tuiger son a hiad a trep gustáiseach. Na halbaní díach a lorach rútacin a fiachin rútacin a chruach gan san darna lé seo. Fine na Sascha stoch a 10 meter in fall van a line. Elian Clark dó troje. Lea Bartlett le hén an sa chagin skillche na hétal dír a fiachin lavan a churéid. Lana scéalt in a pútig agus a pútig. Graim sin Brebner hold nach huirí a bhil falla Vanil nu an a draste. Thompson a clích nu. Gulavin Malcolm. McLaughlin is seach. Maar Pilad iad a bhil sin.
Advantage on the ground.
Lavin is sin hic na hétaltí iad a bhil. Evie Gallagher. Ceann sias a pútig ha Clark Colleria. Ma hén éicin Malcolm agus Wassel has iad a farc. Na halbín has a grocaig iad a dora seo. McLaughlin ha bhód Bjarna Lorach. Rona Lloyd Huali sin a garam Evie Wells a bhil sin a hatal yi Gallagher 5 meter.
Stay back.
Lloyd a clích nu. Crín Grant dír a chuir a chuir clích go meastratach sin ach a furach an a lavin na halbanich.
Yeah, this is better from Scotland. They look like, as I say, they've got a bit more confidence about their attack, a bit more of a spark. They're starting to go in their numbers, they're securing their ball. The forwards are getting over the gain line with some form of attack and speed, which is really good. And here we've got a penalty.
Lana scéalt in a pútig troje. Gan na tuvéile le McLaughlin. Collery se skipper Eiche Malcolm. Ach, hyd y gol yr as. Awn y lafn na hétaltí chafi, tolidge idir gyn dysgwyl y fawr sy'n na halbanich. Byn y hétaltí inis y lorag cwjicyn lebrog. Gwys y fawr sio ein gwsafachus. Siani Stefan a ha eir fi dian na brep yn sio gan y focs y ffat na gymau agos y si haid y fi saraf o chael. Lucia Scott cha fawr sy'n y chwmol ysdiach. An impressive feat there if she'd kept that in, Scott.
Yeah, she was on her tiptoes when she was trying to catch that. You can see what she was trying to do is keep that ball from going out, but unfortunately just stepped over the line while she still had her hand on the ball. Frustrating from Scotland there. As you saw, we saw that penalty move. We saw Lana Skeldon try to take route one, and then the little tiny kind of wrap around that Rachel McLaughlin did with Rachel Malcolm coming on her shoulder. So in terms of the variety in the Scotland attack, and in terms of a bit more intent in the Scotland attack, it's there. But then we were short in numbers and got turned over again, and that's where it counts. We have to keep the ball safe, and that must be at least 4, 5, 6, 7 turnovers the Italians have made because we've not got there in numbers.
Hennig sin aarachig 3 aarachin is seo son na halbanich. Lucia Scott a chin ye son Chloe Rowley. Katie Mattinson a chin Ederson Leah Brebner Holden agus a chin ye Adele Ferry a shin agus a chin Ayrshire Alex Stewart. A raft of changes there. Adele Ferry on her first start, probably a mixed bag there, but really good to see Alex Stewart coming on, a really young, positive talent for Scotland.
Yeah, exactly, and in terms of what she's kind of gone through over the course of the last kind of 6 months or so with her various diagnoses, it's so good. She wrote an article alongside one of the Scotland literature people, and in terms of that side of things, she was just talking about how she's kind of gone through her various diagnoses and getting back on the pitch for Scotland. So it's brilliant to see her back in a Scotland shirt, and I've no doubt she's got a very long career ahead of her.
agus hunnig sin cuideach Sylvia Tudani a tín son na hétaltí I héna clúch son Harlequins le céad sa ga Cape Rihanium
16.
na hétaltí Thorsten Penis an tuidir seo
Offside.
Corm ga Helen Nelson mítar in ein Irash son na Halabanich. Shinakov Sarah Tunesi is Sheikh son Jordana Duca. Tunesi in her form is a formidable player to play against. On the bench today, any guesses as to why?
Yeah, in terms of the kind of the ability that she's going to have to come off and put an impact into this game, as I mentioned, there's going to be some tired bodies there, and she's not the sort of person that you want to be running at you when we have that sort of ability. So she is outstanding player, and yeah, it's something that will be looking to disrupt this Scotland's attack.
Mála sin Aniel Bulach goal mar in dúil son na Halabanich. Haas ans na lavan afge le Thompson. Alex Stewart de hiet tudis le lavan val clíchtar guma le tor talent. Bartlett Jenna Macumal Graham val sin McLaughlin. Katie Mattinson and Isha Studio Cushion Vol Coolhagging.
No on the ball.
Malcolm Gattieri. Nelson, Lucia Scott tasted.
No hands.
Nelson Erigol Harris. Hey, Agus Ronaloy putting that all good. Dunya Simbi. Scotland there actually did have options, 2 options at least there, and it's Nelson that's gone over for their second score of the game. 10 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, not where you'd expect Nelson to be standing that close to the line, but she does a fantastic job there. This is so much better from Scotland in terms of their speed of their attack. Each of their carries has so much more intent in it. They are getting with each other, they're supporting each other, they're getting over the gain line, and the speed of ball is so much better as well. We see Katie Matheson there, she's organising everyone in behind, she's getting her runners moving, and she's getting a bit more flair in that attack. So better from Scotland. That's what they wanted in this first 10 minutes, and fingers crossed they can push on from here.
Was it Cream?
Nope.
Miarsnacha sin son Nelson.
It's HIA? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sin na Kleintsin na Luch Leintain.
Yes.
Láir an sa gún na fiachin na clíchtar an étaltí seo
And we have HIA.
a stúide go barach trais. Dúlaí seo cin seo mútsú a tíné I héanaad a bhí hómás a géime seo a tín dhé a sin.
Ready?
Unfortunate there for Mutsu, a real attacking threat there for Italy, maybe a bit of breathing space for the Scots.
Yeah, exactly. She's gone off for a HIA, and it's obviously something we're pushing more and more in the game, making sure that we are safe in terms of anything to do with her head. But who they've brought on Rigoni, and she is another brilliant attacking threat for Italy. 84 caps to her name, so I've got absolutely no doubt that she will fill those boots fairly well.
Ritorno.
Laina sin dultaobh na hétaltí. Hast Anna Lee. Hast Anna Lee na Halabanich sin. Dúlaí thuair sin gundeach Lucia Scott dhé a cha héanaar gluasit gan a chléich I Jenna Room son Rowley ag lán thula agus sé Corinne Grant a cha dhé. So an sa leine chúlach ina trí cúl chúsin ha Lucia Scott aníis a chléich Chloe Rowley ag lán thula agus Rona Lloyd has acin. sin hacid na clíchi ar an Albany fiachchain ar son spiúna go horsair chéile. Agus Stefan ar a gáil agus ha Alia Batonchi ag arab a nui. An interesting change there for Italy. Stefan with her box kicks. You would keep it on all day, surely.
Yeah, but I think with a World Cup coming up, you're going to want to get these youngsters more experience, more exposure at this level. So yeah, a big move there for the Italians, taking their scrum half off, but a wise one given the current circumstances with the World Cup.
No advantage.
Cholaban is sin vo Thompson Judith fiachin Kumal Graham ar a bhil sin agus a Kumal Cúsin Anna Lavin na Halabany. Emma Wassel, first game back, looks like she's been through the wars, but I think it would be hard for anyone trying to take her off this game.
Yeah, exactly. We know how passionate she is, and we know how kind of strong-willed she is. So there's absolutely no doubt she'll be staying on until the bitter end. She's thrown herself into everything. She's a line-out warrior. She loves her line-outs, and she's fantastic at them. But also defensively, she's here, there, and everywhere. And she's probably one of those silent players in terms of her defence. She gets around the park and she does a good job, so you don't really notice her, but yeah, she'll definitely be feeling battered and bruised. Welcome back to international rugby.
Mahén Emma Wassel gin arás ar a farca sé eileise agus bhí cór is bliana. Leine is seo ar son Alaba, Lana Skeldon, Malcolm, Alex Stewart, McLaughlin. Hútig troch húsin Katie Matson, dói eile dúchi a Scott inis ar a chlíig le Bartlett Colliery ar a chlíig ga cúmal húsin sábalte. Wassel clíig neu. Mattinson go McLaughlin ar a gáil ar ard fo McLaughlin. Aniel Litology le hín Ijid. Haniel Stefanach go seoach go corma ar a neu úd Batonchi a bhil seo chuir amach. Haas ar a leine ag na hétaltí. Aloric Kujikin.
Use it! Stay back. Advantage over.
Ganavoxe agus Mach.
Yeah. We have a massive
Big boots to fill there, trying to get those box kicks away. A little bit of breathing space, but maybe not quite as far as they wanted, the Italians there.
Yeah, exactly, but they've done another good job at disrupting that Scotland attack. An uncharacteristic error there from Rachel McLaughlin. The ball just got away from her, but I think more than anything she was looking up at those Italians coming off the line at her defensively. So a really good spoil attack there from the Italians, and Scotland will be looking to go from here again and keep grinding and get more points on that board.
Corum eile Gana Halvanich isteach go Lavin Alex Stewart, McLaughlin a Cumal Grimer Cúsin in Turisha. Mattinson go Gallagher. Thompson. Evie Wells Colleria. Mattinson, Nelson a Hurin try. And Macha Lavin Lucia Scott ar a gáil ar ard go míor nach chast an Lavin Nelson a hí sin an bhil seo a dul go Lavin na hétaltí.
Advantage over for Malcolm.
Ha stan sa fichit sa ga ag na hétaltí. Bhíon bhil seo a dul isteach.
Time is off. All good? Thanks. Ready?
Sarah Tunesi a ar tíníd is sa darna lí seo a céirsci leor I hén le céad sa fóc cip I clích ar son Stad Bordelais. Lana Skeldon ar son gachúd isteach a ríist. Lavin Wassel. Alex Stewart. Díadach a cúmal smach ar húsin is sin ball go málu Lisa Thompson mar an pélad. Agus a pútig troi Evie Gallagher leis is try eile ga Alaba as darna lí Evie Gallagher.
That's a wonderful, wonderful bit of set piece there from Scotland. First of all, accuracy, but second of all, the deception. The line out One is accurate. We get the ball off the top. We've then got that little switch around, and then everybody is running hard. Everybody is running hard with support. And Evie Gallagher, you're not stopping her from there. She is so strong in contact and has pumped those legs over the line. A good bit of set piece there from Scotland, and something that they'll hopefully take confidence in. They've come out a different team in this second half.
Nelson Girach ar bíalah na púist seo. A hain le na pingin I bharach. Agus inis scór fichit pingin gúiseach diag. A sin isteach gan a darna lí. This is more the score I think we were expecting. Scotland had really come alive in that second half, and Evie Gallagher just dancing around those tackles.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we know how good she is in defence, but we know how good she is in attack as well. She's a formidable ball carrier. She has such a low centre of gravity when she goes as well, but she's also got brilliant footwork for a number 8. So in terms of her attack, I'm keen to see her get as much time on ball as possible in the rest of this match.
Mattinson is in, Girach a brepig a bhal Mach.
Yeah. On the line.
Bé leine seo a dul ga na hétaltíich. Áireach úr ga chuir arás Desiree Spinelli. Ag clúiche cúid rugby ag Benetton Treviso. Seo an ceireadh céip éige. Réitire ar a agan deacha rí. Seo acah Rigoni é hain suringi bhí hó cruachal agus hó cúnarseach leis a bhal na live é hain a clúich ar a clúich ar tínéad ar son Mutso. Betonci. Tunesi. Has the dol na hétaltíich. Rigoni. A Mach and Doris. A lot of clí chéile sin dinka. Betonci a lot of cúideachnéide éire chlích. A Gianna na mítar in inis na hétaltíich. Seo mar a bhar in dúil van a hiadlí. McLaughlin mar an péilear a tí an suas ach a buringi Graham sin ein. Fiachan an bal sin ein. Betonci cúideachínú réile I lári aragéti. Rigoni ar locate agus hair fall seo mar a bhar in dúil vollage Rigoni. That's exactly the type of rugby we expect from Rigoni.
Yeah, one directional, and we know that she is such a strong, slippery ball carrier. 2 Scotland defenders aren't able to take her down, and she's slithered through that gap. So a lovely line from her, and a brilliant bit of Italian attack there. They're getting front foot ball, they're looking to move the ball, their accuracy of their attack is brilliant. And as I say, we know what Rigoni does. She's played alongside a few of these Scotland players when she played at Sale, so in terms of that side of things, they'll know her well, and they'll know that she likes to do that, and yeah, that's another classic Rigoni there, and a fantastic score for Italy.
Agus Gianu na súriste is seo ar son Celery. Girach ar bíalah na púist. Sinní le na pingin a bharach an bearna tar a dascape ar ais suas go díich.
That's probably the first bit of ball the Italians have had in this second half. The Scots have done really, really well at maintaining possession, which is something in the first half they couldn't do. They couldn't keep their hands on the ball. They couldn't keep the phases going. So it was better from the Scots. But as I say, we starved the Italians of ball in the first part of this second half, and they've got an extremely good success rate. First time they've been in the 22, the Scottish 22 in the second half, and they've come away with points.
Use the ball!
agus hunnig sin sin Leah Bartlett a chin ye son Molly Wright a hainer chin arash gukuj cleach. We spoke about her earlier, Molly Wright coming back into the fold for Scotland, coming in with half an hour to go.
Yeah, exactly. 16 months she's been out of a Scotland shirt. She's been fighting back from a knee injury. She's had a couple of games for her club team, Sale under her belt, but hasn't, as I say, pulled on that Scotland shirt for 16 long months. So she'll be delighted to be back on the pitch. She played a H2 role and support role during the Six Nations and bided her time, and it's fantastic to see her back on that pitch.
Agus cúideach a héanaar chin arás go bhí clé hóma gafaicin arás ar a fit. Emma Wassel ar a ggóil dhé son Eva Donaldson a héana clích a cúid rugby a nish ag Sale Sharks. Cagin seo ganna héta tíich. Animin ure ar a farcar son gach tuv. Cainich sin sé blach ag suas havóder son cúpan a crunne cormar son na clíchtar an seo rutin iachin. Wel sin a bocatich mun cuairst. Na halabanich ar tuv cear a bhal. Na hita tíich in se lora becan a bharach mítar in. Agus díadach amachas a fiche sa ga ag na halabanich ar chin far brog Stefanin. Ma hau díadach ar chin cólarain bio ar BBC Alba vo Stadio Luigi Zaffanella ha na hitatich a cleich in a Alba an sa game sre and Tauri Shaw is scoring dras a fiche sa shach pungin gu shachtiag gana hitatich. Beton chill lorak na cleichter in ureiche. Stefanin Leah Brog, Rigoni lorak. Agus er hí cheese has the dot on the laven Dinka Coelach Dinka a chin har a line.
That is world class from the Italians. That is absolutely outstanding bit of rugby there. Rigoni spotted the space in behind. At first I thought that's a bit of an odd decision, but she puts a perfect amount of weight on it, able to regather it, and then the handling, the slickness of the handling, they interest each one of the Scotland defenders, and then we get Dinka in the corner for her hat-trick. That's a lovely, lovely bit of work there from the Italians.
Sinach of Wula shin 3 tries hat-trick a haun son Dinka. Stoch be heen a lorak fosh inish is he heener torfingen einer son a skippe eichge.
Ja.
Celery it own ein trona pushed Gurek Shaw. Shaw and Darn eichge. Es gorenish 3 hits a keer pungen gu shachtiag.
We see it again there, Stefan, and with that chip over the top, Rigoni reads it really, really well. She's just onside, reads it really, really nicely. A gorgeous take, and then, as I say, the slick handling there. Really, really great bit of attack there from the Italians.
Stefanin chin ye kujach. Veronica Madia a chin aid ek Arab a jich son. Bal more a reish for Thompson. A skipper. Ha staders on the hitoshi Elisa Giordano. Alorach Brip Ele Vonnevoxe.
It's dummy. 21. Dummy by 9.
Ach a facail cúsin bec an ro atha sin agus a bhail seo a dul tuimhna Halabanich agus thunig sinna sin lana scéaldan a dul dhéala sméid tín éir sé Elis Martin tí ógatha clích a cúid rugby ag Loughborough Lightning. Mattinson, ag the dúnig iad a léine sin. Mattinson a ríist. Éad a gáil ar ard bhó Thompson. We're seeing sparks here of a really good Scotland sides, but they're not making it easy for themselves.
Yeah, and you can see they're trying to attack that short side every single time. In terms of if they've identified actually the Italians overfold, they leave that blind side a bit short of defenders, and they're looking to come back that way. The handling again, it's just one of those, they're trying to force that extra little pass where it's probably not needed. If they can stick their head down, get a bit of ground gained, and then reset and go again on their attack, they'd probably be a bit more successful. Instead, they're trying to fling those little passes, and they're not quite going to hand. And again, that's another opportunity wasted for the Scots.
Sinanna darna le a game seo. Game a had bhí dul ar aisteir na Halabanich chéad bhí isteach ar 3 pingin a chanis. Córis dich étar an dascip a game blá is seo an a Parma. An san étal just dascip a blá chug suas ar son cúpan na crunne na ban. Díadach Alorach Bacon room ar son na hétal tíich is sin ach bí an ball a dul isteach a chiad tílacail isteach ar son Elis Martin. Elis Martin really giving herself a place in this team. Lana Skeldon, an absolute stalwart of this Scotland team, but Elis Martin hot on her heels.
Yeah, exactly, and in terms of that, I think Lana Skeldon's been a fantastic coach for Ellis coming through the ranks. She's always...
Joachim Thompson, past the doll.
Advantage all sides.
Elian Clark, Havur Ere Brishig Shin. Alba haast er Junsi. Did ik me niks shift kaal nach begoor geef. Haast het al is Mattinson, Shanakov Martin er Rosh in de Breen. Nelson, editor Shias. Elian Clark a favor son of Alshan, Rigoni. Díadach a cummal Graimir Cúsin iad a lad. We were speaking about Elis Martin, a really good line out there, and like a bullet, Lisa Thompson smashing right through.
Yeah, it's starting to come together for the Scots in terms of that line out. They're getting good movement, they're fooling the Italians, they're getting up in front of them, they're getting off the top.
Also a head-on-head, but the defender, Italy 11 is passive, so it'd be a penalty only on the far side as well in that phase.
Yeah, so you have the option.
Ball as well.
You have the option. Penalty here or in the middle on the post.
Coram Penish ar son na hétal tíich. Nelson. Chavód mar skipper eile iad a skipper seo a Jenica Cúhúnig gin jéjit ar son a leine Coram eile a bhías an ar son Elis Martin a bhal seo a chuidisteach i héin gemach leachte iad a bhí fein a bhal von a leine agus cuideach is as an a creagaich. A seo mar a bhar an dúil Elis Martin at cool and creagaich. A pútig agus a pútig I héin a Alorach trai mar a bhar ga Lana Skeldon mar a húnig sin bob Chini ar son na hétaltí ar Alorach a leine Elis Martin leis scored ar son na Halabanich Eva Donaldson a Shelton Díadach chomór sa hat sin a cíalchuig a ga na hétaltí.
as you say, Lana Skeldon has been a fantastic coach for that person there, Ellis Martin, and we saw her do a complete replica of what Lana Skeldon did in that first half. The calmness, the control, better line out there from the Scots, and then they get that drive on. You can see all 8 of them working hard there. We've got a couple of addition of the backs. I'm going to say the backs have tipped that over the edge there and got them over the line, but fantastic control there from Ellis Martin, and keeps that scoreboard ticking over from Scotland, hot on the heels of that Italian score.
Nelson Girach Shachat na pushed, so score furach 3 sa céir, 2 fiche sa ga. Try eile gan na Halabani for Ellis Martin. Céir tries inis ag na Halabani ach na hétaltí ruir fallah le cúsin an dras de coú le sia tries. Seach of Unchi a huad try Beatrice Rigoni son an ball gudol iriist. Lavin Savalche inis von na Halabani. Balagian and sin von na Halabani in draste. Rolly agus Rigoni gemaklachte rivi clich richile. Ballin could have word Mattinson Leisha Brock, pass the doll Rona Lloyd, Fia finished in Balshin.
That's a 50-22 as well. An outstanding bit of defence there from the Scots. The forwards were working so hard, disrupting that Italian attack, holding them up as much as possible, forcing them onto bits of the park that they want them to play in. And then Matheson, a lovely bit of play from her. She identifies that space was in behind that Italian winger, kicked it over the top because she was in her own half, and that's gone out in the 22. It's a Scotland ball.
Agus la mór ga Hannah Ramsey I find a hiet cape eichge Jean Aid son Lisa Thompson agus hunnic sin sin Elian Clark adulye son Lisa Coburn. An unfortunate line out there for Scotland, but a huge day for Hannah Ramsey, who's just coming on for her first cap.
Yeah, it's amazing to see her gain her first cap for Scotland. She is still so young, but she has got bags of talent. We've seen her involved in Celtic Challenge and really shine through for the Edinburgh squad, and I'm so excited to see her excel in this World Cup.
Ball shot Lesna Hitalchich in draste. Rolly Gida Fokushina Shenach Edegolgu Lavin Lloyd, Lorak Nabiarna Shen. Rona Lloyd's just been waiting for space to break throughout this match. Hannah Ramsey Shen. Fine vacant room. Biachin Rutkin a Yanni Lish a Hiet game a Shoikisha a Hiet Cape Eichge. Merach sin vo Evie Gallagher. Gallagher there, maybe nerves coming out, a bit frustration or just tiredness. She's been out in the heat in Italy for 73 minutes of this game and she's made the most of it, but just a small mistake there from her.
Yeah, and you could see what she's wanting to do. You can see what the Scotland team have injected into their attack. Speed, a bit more accuracy of their pass, their ball movement's been better, their width of attack has been better as well. They've been less tight around those rucks and running back into the big Italian defenders. So in terms of that side of things, you could see what she was trying to do there. The space was on that little bit wider, but I don't think she just quite communicated that to her captain, Rachel Malcolm, who wasn't expecting the ball, was expecting her to carry and to kind of get over the top of her. So as you say, tired, decisions maybe questionable now that there's tired bodies out there, but again, it's one of those ones that you want them to try these things. This is a warm-up game for the biggest tournament of some of these girls' careers. They might only go to one World Cup, so in terms of that sort of things, you want them to try these things. You want them to get those little bits and pieces clicking here and there, so they can take them in 26 days time or however many days time it is until that first game against Wales. They've got the confidence, they've played with each other, they know how each other plays, and they can go into that with the confidence and they can kind of start that game how they've built into this game.
Cúsin díadach ar stad in dras de scorbíní sias a coid an a bec an pian gumi orstanach ach coltas can be I a fudach aid ach has tor spors the hína seo ar BBC Alba an a camanach Cúpin na camanach iarchrúisiad anach itar a ggéiristan an agus ceanna UC sin in na just a harne ag cíhar fescad bio ar BBC Alba agus ar iarchrúisiad anach sin itar bailúd an tléb agus ob camanach an tóban ar íos an a cúpa na camanach. The forwards maybe quite thankful for a bit of a break. There's still some players on there, like we spoke about Evie Gallagher, but the two flanks, the two Rachels still on, having played most of the game as well, getting a chance at a breather.
Yeah, exactly, and you can see the sweat beading off them. It's 37 degrees out there now. That is heat that some of these Scots I've never seen before. So in terms of that side of things, getting the bodies ready, the World Cup's only down in England, but it is a bit hotter down there. So in terms of getting them used to playing in warmer conditions, this has been a fantastic opportunity for them. And as you mentioned, Rachel Malcolm, Rachel McLaughlin and Evie Gallagher still on the pitch in the 75th minute. The three of them are outstanding in terms of their work rate, but also in terms of their fitness. They'll keep going and give you absolutely everything for 80 minutes. So it's great to see them still managing to get a breather there, but I've got no doubt they're not finished just yet.
A ball agus a cagin seo a dul tuamh na hétaltí. Cúte Canela a ha hast aid. Graham stoch a bec an tra bó Evie Wills. Ula a tchéchi gus sé a bhall seo. Seachi Lavin Rona Lloyd. Ach a réitire. Grazalo as a rang a thuirs cúsin éras.
Tackle of the ball.
Sinakib a Graham sin a bha a Jean vo Evie Wills far a val hadur Rigoni Coram a val sin ein. Evie Wills has done really well to bring her back into this Scotland squad. She was obviously involved a couple of years ago as quite a young player, but she's really made her mark down south where she plays her rugby, and getting back in a first starting spot for her today.
Yeah, exactly, and you've seen she's been really good in attack. She gets you go forward ball. She works really well with Lisa Thompson. The pair of them, you'd probably argue, are fairly similar in terms of how they play, but in terms of their ability, their ball skills are fantastic, their ball carrying skills are fantastic, and their defensive skills are fantastic. Maybe a little bit too eager there from Evie, just getting caught ahead before Rigoni had the ball, but you can see the intent is there now. The Scots were asleep in that first 30-40 minutes of the game, but the intent's there now. They're wanting to make those tackles, and Evie Wills was leading from the front there.
Jada Keher minute re-goal ans a game seo a scored 3 hits a here gan na hétaltí 4 hits a ga gan a halbanich Fiach G Hachas le Keher minute re-goal ans a game seo an a stadio Luigi Zaffanella an 11 na hétaltí von a brok a fyrigol havor G Rachera Emma
Blue on the line.
Fórsinach gan na Halbaní agus bicóram eile ag Ellis Martin seo a chuid isteach. Sin acibh Molly right lena stúdíon son Ellis Martin I héine i'r tín arás fo bhí i'r dóchain. Agus i'r áit ein arás an sa scód seo i'r hóiseach cúpa na crunne. Nielsen a tuairt cúsin isteach. Martin. Lorach Bjarn sin. Alex Stewart. Evie Gallagher haastéir, Evie Gallagher húd trai an sa darna lei seo. Eva Donaldson a haar tíníd. Lucia Scott, Rona Lloyd. Rona Lloyd leis a choram. Ach Mutsu ar tína ráisiid. Alex Stewart. Na Halbaníe fiach in a rúta cin aine machas sa darna lei seo. Na minute in ácal. Nielsen a géirí an ball seo. Gwils a chéad a gut in sin van a hétatí. Well read there from the Italians.
But we've managed to seal it back.
Rona Lloyd, Lucia Scott Collery, Lucia Scott a géirí an ball sin a gara méid a ball. A chas de fyrach le na Halbaní. McLaughlin a féfid a hon. Pút ag troia le Coburn. Ellis Martin, Evie Gallagher son in darna tráithid, Beck and Gorich. Harish, achai Beck and Gorich iríis, bhá Molly right. Katie Mattinson a shealach a bhall sin. Beck na slúitiche seo bhá Lisa Coburn. A fiach in iríis. Agus hai seachad son a darna scóracha Evie Gallagher trona pushed. A team try there, everyone working really hard with 1 minute to go. Evie Gallagher over the line for their second try.
Yeah, definitely, and as we said, there'll be some tired bodies out there. It looked like we were going to score in this right-hand corner. I just don't think that Rona Lloyd could get her hands free to give that to Lucia Scott, but they recycled the ball well. They kept possession, which they couldn't do in the first half. They kept possession and they went through the phases, and as we say, Evie Gallagher, she's going to give you 100% effort from minute 1 to minute 79, and she's done that there to get over the line.
Brett Guma Lua sin bhá Helen Nelson son na pingin a bharach díreach sia pingin éitir in da skippe. Rigoni ga chud gudal aríis. We saw a very quick kick there from Helen Nelson trying to keep the time going on the board. We're at 80 minutes now. Ball is in Scotland's hands.
Yeah, and there's 5 points in it, so this could be the difference as of getting them prepared World Cup final with 1 minute to go, and they've got a score. So yeah, it's great to put them in scenarios like this where they have to get the job done.
McLaughlin, Alaba has the pútig. Boy can ski, Rona Lloyd, Kumal cushions all moot Sophia can shot a Kumal Mac. Mattinson, Idiish to Shalak Evalshin. Balbic, good Coburn, Bullishin the Luch Linton, a Shea Bull Motion, a Hasavalcha Hannah Ramsey, a Heat Cave Beke. Gachumal Savalcha. Molly right, Edigol Rurd. Give me Orstenach a Shin a Gema Etere. Shanakov Lan Unie a Gema Shaw Ether na Hetalchich Agus Alaba a Kriachnach Trichit sa Keir Pingin go Fichit sa Nui. Alaba Gidach a Fiach in a Balshan a Chumal a Dol a Fiach and Gachumal an sa Chlich a she a Trai Shen a le 1 minute rigol for Evie Gallagher ach Gidach a goal Edert ansna minachin me dhéireg bhí na hétaltích tálaite ach bóicin go má ski agus gorst von a hula dunne. Scotland couldn't quite keep the momentum there, just forward there at the end of the day, but they were within 6 points. And there we've seen, I don't think there's any surprises there. Alyssa Dinka with the hat-trick for Italy as our player of the match.
Yeah, no, she had an outstanding game, both in attack and defence there, so very well deserved Player of the Match award.
Agus seo Akin na tries von and Darnley. A great start to the second half there. Helen Nelson probably not expected to be on the wing there, but she got the job done.
Yeah, exactly. Scotland came out with some fire in them. They came out with more attacking intent, better accuracy, more direction, and they were so much more clinical with their attack. That we see in both of those tries there, and early on to get the ball rolling.
Agus seo acah na hétaltích dul rieis an dúgraí seo a try ag Rigoni díach a pútig tro na Graham. Rigoni doing exactly what we expected her to do there.
Yeah, she was a great addition to the Italian attack in the second half, showing off both her skills with the ball in hand, but also her high ball skills. She brings such a second dimension to that Italian attack, so much experience there, and she did a fantastic job off the bench.
Agus Sinnach of Dinka leis a hat-trick eiche agus Ellis Martin a China isteach son a try eiche son na Halbanich seo an try me dhéireg Jenna Géime a Chian Suez sin fo Evie Gallagher a play fat na game 8 minutes an sa chase an sa nétalj is sin. Absolute strength there from Evie Gallagher to keep that going. She played for 80 minutes, 2 tries, a few minor mistakes, but do you think she's solidified her place in this World Cup squad?
Yeah, definitely, but I think she'd solidified it from her performance in the Six Nations. She's one of those players that just keeps on giving and giving, and paired with her back row of the Rachel Malcolm, who leads from the front. She really does wear her heart on her sleeve for her country, and Rachel McLaughlin there in shot. She tackles everything. She's one of those workhorses. She gets round the park, and she gets round the park for 80 minutes. So the three of them are outstanding. You see Alex Stewart there too. She came on and had a cracker, as we mentioned, with her kind of diagnoses over the last few months or so. It's fantastic to see her back in a Scotland strip and put in a decent performance off the bench too.
We spoke about Brian Eason moving on after the World Cup, but his job's not done yet. Lots of decisions there to be made, and another game for both squads actually next week, but Scotland playing Ireland next week.
And yeah, that's probably going to be another step up in terms of challenge. It was great to see so many people returning to the Scotland squad and getting their first starts. And we even saw Hannah Ramsey get on the pitch for the first time. So there's lots for Brian to mull over and think going into next week as well.
Sin active game maha gema chown ether and da skippe na hétaltích a Chian an bar ag Jada Húsin a críachnach tríchit sa céhir go fichit sa neu ach tór ma rí éichgin vo na Halbanich ach sin ach bhuaine is seo ar BBC Alba ma hang son a bhí colarum Rachel Law Piovo Stadu Luigi Zaffanella sin ach igéime Alba agus na hétaltích bio ar BBC Alba.